Make the ground shake.
Hello everyone and welcome to another tank review. This time we are going to look at the tier 8 Russian heavy tank, the IS-3, or simply put in other words, the best heavy at tier 8. Uh, as always, we will take a look into the armor, and since this thing was turned HD, it is now a true monster. At the hull, uh, it is around 200 millimeters thick, and the lower plate also at around 200 millimeters, which means that frontally you don't really have any weak spots. Of course, since the IS-3 is a bit shorter of a tank, people might be able to shoot you from above like this, and then your armor values are a bit lower, but all in all, the frontal armor is now awesome since Wargaming turned this thing HD, and some might say even overpowered. There is the obvious roof weak spot on top, which is easily penetrable by any tank this thing meets, since it's only 20 millimeters thick. So when you're face hugging something like a KV4, a Tiger, or maybe even the new Japanese heavy tanks, always be cautious of this plate right here. But if you use your gun depression to its fullest like this, then the hull is even better, and turret weak spot is unseen. The side armor also pretty great, 90 on the lower part of the hull, with 20 millimeters of spaced track armor, and on the upper part you have some 30 millimeters of spaced armor combined with the 90 millimeters. And since this is a diamond shaped um, hull, as you can see right here now, see all of that means you get some incredible values even side flat on, so to say. I mean 220 millimeters on the side is monstrously. That means that this thing is also pretty good at side scraping, but if you side scrape in a regular fashion, you do expose this cheek right here, which can be vulnerable at that kind of an angle. So a lot of players that do, if it is a stalemate on a flank, they will put their tank like this with the turret toward the back, like sort of at a this sort of an angle, and you then can easily reverse side scrape. As you can see, all of this is now ricochet zone. Nothing can easily penetrate you here, so that is something that, for instance, the 110 doesn't get, which we are going to compare it against during this video. Let's look into this into the stats for now. Compared to the 110, it has a greater penetrating gun and higher alpha damage, but at a cost of a DPM. But when you are trading shots, you will almost always come out on top in those tier 8 games. But be wary that a lot of the enemies can shoot you twice for every time you shoot once, and always be careful when you pull back for a reload. The rate of fire 4.7 rounds a minute, which is pretty alright for such a huge cannon like this one. The view range is quite possibly the biggest drawback the IS-3 has, because at 350 meters, that's tier 6 levels of view range. This is now a tier 8, and unless you are brawling, you will not see your enemies. Trust me. Accuracy 0.4 and 3.4 second aim time are pretty horrid, especially the aim time, but when you see that all of these stats are green somehow, even though this is a larger caliber gun than the 110, you will find out that the gun has a great bloom, and the 3.4 second aim time feels much better than that. um, Elevation angles 23 up and only 5 degrees down, typical Russian. So finding hull down, effective hull down spots is hard, but when you do, you are in a league of your own. The traverse is pretty alright at 30 degrees. Engine power 700, as you can see, much better than the 110s. The horsepower per ton is pretty alright at 14.2 horse at 14.2, which is one of the best at the tier, but it gets completely ruined by the soft stats right here, especially on medium terrain. The forward top speed 38, easily reachable on the flat, and 1.5k health points, which is sort of slightly below average at tier 8. For equipment, you will want to maximize everything about the gun and the mobility, so improve vents, um, um, a gun rammer as a must on any vehicle, and a vertical stabilizer. The view range is shit anyway, so you might as well just specialize this tank for the brawling purpose. For a consumable, you can run with improved combat ration, since this thing does not get set on fire from the front, which is something unusual for a Russian tank. So, but as always, I will go with fire extinguisher, um, a med kit, and a repair kit. For crew, pretty much anything that will help with the mobility and the gun. So brothers in arms is okay. As always, 6 cents on anything is a viable option. Repairs on any heavy tank for the gunner, snapshot really helps repairs, and that I think that it will be quite helpful, because this thing has a huge caliber, and that will help with those modular damage. For the driver, I would firstly prioritize off-road driving, then smooth ride, because as I said, the soft stats are pretty horrible, so off-road driving will help with that quite a bit. And for the loader, safe stowage, pretty standard, and repairs, and you can go with something else after that if you have that much of an OP crew. I think that was enough for this spreadsheet reading. Let's get into some battles, and off we go with the battle. It's a standard battle on the airfield map, and I am top tier, pretty favorable matchup. The only thing is that they have 2 artillery, which as always, if you try to expose yourself even a tiny bit, will ruin your game. Now the spawn I got was pretty bad for this thing, but as you can see, this thing can really shift for a heavy tank and the amounts of armor it has. So I am gonna go in the usual heavy tank brawling position, and one thing I do notice now is that there is almost nobody to back me up right here. Now going up hills, you can see that it's pretty alright. I mean, it's still a heavy tank, and since um, nobody is coming this way from the heavies apart from the KV5, I decided to push on this position right here because I did have the speed in advantage, and I will try to use that now. Now you can see that the convoy was making a run for it. That was a poorly aimed shot. I don't know why I shot so low into the ground. Maybe it was a replay, a glitch of some sort. I will try to put one shot into him and sorry about that, and save the eyes, but there was none of that, and I just take out the AMX-12T. Our AMX-12T is taking care of the Cromwell, but at the cost of us losing the IS. But he was base camping, so he was just as useless there. I will try to put a shot into this IS, but the shell dips, and I would have none of that. I see that this KV5 is pushing toward the T-34-3 and the WZ and the T-44, which is something you should not ever do, but the T-34-3 spots me at the very last second. I mean, if he wasn't so careful, if he hadn't pulled back, he would have been quite surprised because I wasn't spotted for that moment, for the time being. But now we do have shots with this KV5 into his rear, track him once more, and the KV5 tracks him, and I think that I will have the fast enough reload to take him out. And just as I do so, the WZ is pushing the KV5, he shoots him and takes out a chunk of his hit points. And now I will try to abuse the turret roof on the IS-3, and the gun pretty much will fail me this whole game. At this position I am RT safe as long as I think where it is, which is at the H1 area, and the gun is failing me once more. But I will have to mention that I do not have a good crew in this. I don't even have a full first skill because I got a new crew just for this thing. Now that is something that you should not do. I exposed myself for the T-44 and the IS, and I got shot by both of them. The E-25 penned me only once, and I do take him out. He was quite unlucky to be in that position at that time. The IS-3 will now try to push me, but this IS is also pushing our IS, so that's an easy penetration, so to say. The T-44 is firing APCR, so I would not want to take any damage for it. I do put another shot into the IS, and now I see that the enemy is pushing forward. This IS-3 donks his shot into the ground, and this is where the game really turns up. And I'm working on the T-44, which was lucky, cannot deny it, but that was that. The WZ will try to shoot me. He bounces. I don't on the lower plate, and that is where the ammo is really good. Now and RT helps me out with this guy. I am worried about about the enemy RT focusing me down. I do put a blind shot in the general direction I went, and he shoots back with his drop gun. Only tracks me, which is pretty alright, and I will try to move myself up once more. The OI spots the E-25, but I have no time to deal with those guys. I have to hear this right here. The Love is showing me his sight. I don't know why he didn't touch that pen. I am hull down now, so there is pretty much nothing that he can do at this point. and now that he is held down, but he kindly presents me his lower plate, and I do put one more shot into him. I am worried about the IS-3 flanking me, but I will have to make use of the reload, and every time I reload I have to fire. I do not have other options. This IS-3 puts a shot into me, which is quite unfortunate. That puts me in one shot even for the way he bounces on me, and I managed to put another great shot into him. I will try to bounce the IS-3, does happen, and the lower is to the side, which is an easy kill. This IS-3 did kill at this point, but post-battle results. And here we are in the post-battle results. That was a hard game for me and a pretty hard defeat, but when you have a team that by the third minute is already 2-7, there is not much you can do really. As you can see, I've picked up Ace Tanker with some tokens and a high caliber. If we look into the post-battle results, we can see that we did finish top on experience by quite a bit, with 998, almost 8,000 on a defeat, which is pretty hard, so to say. I mean, their IS-3 with has only 25 more experience than me, and he won that game. We did finish top on kills as well with 5, and we did 5.8k damage, which for a tier 8 tank is pretty alright, to say the least. If you look into the detailed report, we can see that we did fire 20 shots, 17 hit and only 14 penetrated. The gun wasn't up to its task today, but then again, it's pretty Russian, so you expect to bounce those sort of shots. Out of our 5.8k damage, only one shot on the OI, which did hit, was from a sniping distance. We did receive 4 hits. We did receive 10 hits, sorry, 4 pen and 6 were non-penetration. And we did block 1.5k damage. We did damage 8 vehicles and destroyed 5 with 780 assistance damage. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this tank review. It was certainly a hard defeat for me. The IS-3, in my opinion, is pretty powerful. It is not the best tier 8 tank. I think that spot should go to the AMX 5100. But all in all, I do like the IS-3. It's pretty powerful. Hope you enjoyed this review, and bye for now.